meeting to order. This is regarding applicant Belterre Real Estate Property Partner Limited. I would ask the city clerk to once again record the attendance. The purpose of this proposed amendment to the Miramichi Municipal Plan is to permit a change in land use designation from institutional to residential for the subject properties described as PID 404-29433, located at 180 Water Street in the city of Miramichi, to enable the conversion of the existing former Senior Citizens Home into 3 apartment buildings totaling 23 units, plus a daycare center, construction of a new 20-unit apartment building at the rear of the property, and the construction of 7 new townhouses at the front of the property. Once again, I'll call upon Nick Odette, Planner, Greater Miramichi Regional Service Commission, to introduce the proposed municipal plan amendment. Mr. Odette, back to you.
Okay, thanks again. So I'll get right into the application details. Again, there's a proposal here for a residential development totaling up to 50 dwelling units and a daycare center on this property, including a redevelopment of the existing senior citizens home. This is a location overview, so the property is highlighted in blue. You can see the Riverside Drive subdivision to the right or to the east, and the cemetery on the left side. This is another view looking to the southeast. You can see the existing building parking area. This would have been taken approximately 2016. Overall property is 5.7 acres. Access is from Water Street through 2 existing driveways. And there are municipal services existing and available to the proposed developments. So specifically, the proposed use involves conversion of the existing building, the former Senior Citizens Home, into 23 apartment units and a daycare center. The redevelopment will include demolishing sections of the building to split it into 3 distinct wings or separate buildings. It includes a mix of 1- and 2-bedroom apartments. They're all accessed from the outside, and some will have parking spaces right in front of the units. As well, this involves construction of a new 20-unit apartment building at the rear of the property. This will be a 2-story building with 10 1-bedroom and 10 2-bedroom units. Unit sizes ranging between 561 and 758 square feet. And finally, at the front or the north of the property, it's proposed that there be 7 new townhome units on a separate property to be subdivided from the remainder. Each unit is to be 3 stories with 670 square feet per floor. Each unit has a garage on the ground floor, along with a family room. On the main floor, it has a kitchen, dining, and living room, stored on the 2nd floor. And finally, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms on the 3rd floor. These are some site photos that were taken at the end of October, showing the existing building and parking areas. So this is looking north towards the river and Water Street. This is starting to go up the hill at the southern end of the property, looking back at the existing building. This would be looking south, going up the hill towards the back of the property. And finally, the front of the property showing the proposed location of the townhomes. This would be, again, subdivided off from the rest of the property. This is the applicant's site plan, so you can see the 2 properties to be subdivided highlighted here. So Lot A in pink at the front or the north of the property, and Lot B having the remainder of the uses in green. The applicant has also submitted detailed floor plans for all the proposed uses. These can be reviewed further in the staff report attachments. This is the floor plans for the new 20-unit building proposed at the rear south of the property, and elevations and floor plans for the townhouse units. Looking at the planning considerations, so this property, it's also designated as institutional under the plan. It's also designated as a mixed residential area by Schedule B of the plan. And notable that Water Street is designated as a commercial industrial collector road by Schedule D of the plan. The applicant has retained a professional planner, Deborah Wiley, to prepare a planning rationale in support of their application. They've identified sections of the plan which support their application or which the proposed development aligns with. These sections are provided in the planning staff report. Planning services staff have reviewed this rationale and accepted the analysis. Overall, the plan does support the development of medium and high-density housing in existing serviced areas of the city, especially when they're located proximate to shopping services and employment opportunities. Further, this development provides a mix of densities and unit types and a mix of uses, including the daycare, and that will accommodate numerous demographics of residents while offering on-site childcare. The plan also supports the reuse and repurposing of existing buildings, which is seen here. Of course, the reason for the application is because the residential uses proposed are not permitted under the current institutional zoning of the property. However, these uses are permitted under the medium density B R4 zone as the following. So, apartment dwelling up to 24 units, early learning and child care center, and row house dwelling up to 16 units. It's worth noting as well that the R4 zone does allow for multiple uses to occur on each property where applicable. So it's a kind of a unique zone where it allows for a daycare center to exist along with apartment units. Based on staff's preliminary review, the development as proposed does meet all zoning bylaw requirements, but a more detailed review will be undertaken as part of the building permit process should the rezoning and plan amendment be approved. And just to note again that the council can add conditions to the proposed development and any potential approval using Section 59 of the Community Planning Act. Looking at the surrounding area, it's primarily zoned as single-unit dwelling in the Riverside Drive subdivision and institutional, which is the cemetery to the west. The Riverside Drive subdivision, it's mainly residential, of course, contains mostly single-unit dwellings and a municipal park. There are 11 residences immediately abutting the subject property to the east, and the neighborhood can be considered well established. The subject property is located on Water Street. It's an important collector road on the south side of Miramichi. It's located approximately 300 meters west of the Centennial Bridge. The property is also close to the Miramichi River, just to the north, across Water Street. There's also the CN rail line running to the north of Water Street, and generally the property is located 600 to 900 meters west of downtown Chatham, so relatively walkable. Staff feel that the proposed development could present an intensity in traffic, noise, overall activity that would surpass the existing and previous conditions and patterns of activity in the neighborhood. It's possible that residents in the adjacent neighborhood may object to the proposed development, and it may generate a noticeable increase in traffic and noise in the area. Specific neighborhood impacts and concerns could be identified later in the application process through the public hearing and the notification process. So we did consult with a number of external departments on this file. City's Director of Engineering provided the following comments. Regarding access, a traffic impact statement is required. Servicing, the developer to provide a detailed plan to service the two new buildings. As is proposed to divide the property into two lots, there could be easements required for services crossing an adjacent lot, if applicable. And for drainage, a plan and design brief is required for a net zero increase in post-construction development. The city's Director of Economic Development and Tourism provided their support, stating in part, quote, "The diversity of housing being proposed for this property is equal, and the daycare will provide convenient access to the residents residing at this property." So the PRAC views, this was passed as Resolution 2023-8-1 on November 21st. Pursuant to Section 110.1 of the Community Planning Act, it is the view of the Planning Review and Adjustment Committee of the GMRSC that the City of Miramichi amend 1, Schedule A, Future Land Use Map of the City of Miramichi Municipal Plan, Bylaw 109, to change the designation from institutional to residential. And 2, Schedule A zoning map of the City of Miramichi zoning bylaw, Bylaw 110, to change the zoning from institutional to medium density B, R4. For the subject property described as PID 4042 and 433, located at 180 Water Street in the City of Miramichi, to enable the conversion of the existing senior citizens home into 3 apartment buildings totaling 23 units, plus a daycare center, construction of a new 20-unit apartment building at the rear of the property, and the construction of 7 new townhouse units at the front of the property, and that such approval be subject to the following condition pursuant to Section 59 of the New Brunswick Community Planning Act. 1, that the development of the subject property be limited to a combination of a daycare center and residential buildings totaling no more than 50 dwelling units. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Odette. The City Clerk's office will now receive written objections to the proposed bylaw amendments. A public hearing is scheduled for January 23rd, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall, 141 Henry Street, to consider written objections. Anyone wishing to support or oppose those written objections may do so at that time. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the public hearing. Councillor Johnston, seconded by the Deputy Mayor on the question. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, so the public presentation is adjourned. Do I need a motion?